welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you, Trevor.
What an interesting time you have been having running for president and running for the Democratic nomination. A lot of people say you were one of the winners of the last debate. So what is that? Do you get like a trophy? What do you get for winning a debate?
Well, I'm hoping I get a dance with you in that outfit. That I'm thinking at the end of the interview.
Right.
Yeah,
okay. I've still got the leotard under here, so we can see what happens. You really did well, though, and a lot of people were saying that you connected with the audience in a completely different way. I mean, it jump-started your funding. You know, we've seen you rise in the polls. What do you think about your message connected with people who are going to be voting for who the Democratic nominee will be?
It gave me an opportunity to focus on this simple idea that I don't want to be the president for half of America. I want to be the president for all of America. And we have so much right now with this president who wakes up every day, you know, before the sun is up, he's sending out mean tweets against immigrants, against people of color, against entire cities like Baltimore. He won't stop. And I think right now the answer is to our fired-up Democratic base, incredibly strong and important, but bring people with us. We always do best as a country when we don't shut people out, but we bring people with us. That means independents. It means people that didn't vote last time. It means people in the middle of the country, in those states that he won, like Pennsylvania and Ohio, right. Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa. I am going to build a blue wall around those states of Democratic votes, and the best part? I'm going to make Donald Trump pay for it.
You have come out and positioned yourself as somebody who is proud to say, I am centrist, which many people have started to see as a dirty word. People have said, no, this is not a time for being a centrist. This is a time to say, like, I'm fully liberal. I want Medicare for all. I don't want private insurance. We're going to make everything free. One thing you've been consistent on at all the debates is you've said it sounds great, but that's not what you're not going to promise. Why do you say it sounds great, but it is undeliverable?
I want to make sure we keep promises to people right now. We've got a president in there that's told over 10,000 lies to people. He would rather lie than lead. He's running the country like a game show. So I think it's going to be really important for me when I'm up on that debate stage with him to be able to point out that what I've said, all my plans are paid for, and they're actually going to make a difference in people's lives. And I don't think anyone has a monopoly over good ideas. You look at my idea for health care, taking on the pharmaceutical companies, bring in less expensive drugs from other countries. That's something I actually worked on with Senator Sanders. Making sure that we bring premiums down with a nonprofit public option. And when it comes to school, making sure that it's easier for students to afford to go to college. And that means if millionaires can refinance their yachts, students should be able to refinance their student loans.
Right. But you've been very clear in saying, look, I know it sounds nice, but I'm not going to promise free college for all and getting rid of college debt, and I'm not going to promise you free healthcare for everybody. Why do you not think that that is possible when people have said, no, it is possible? Elizabeth Warren has said it, Bernie Sanders, they've said, no, there is a way to pay for this.
Well, one thing, they're still figuring out how to pay for it, and that's fine. We're waiting to hear that. But the other thing is that I want to make sure that we're putting our money where we need it. And when it comes to college, the fastest growing jobs right now are 1- and 2-year degrees. We're going to have 74,000 openings for electricians in the next 10 years, almost that number for plumbers. We are going to have not that number for comedians. We are going to have 1 million openings for healthcare workers. So we've got to look at that. I would make those free. And then here's the key for the 4-year degrees. And what I would do is take those Pell Grants. Those aren't loans. Those are actually grants. It's good money. And double it from $6,000 to $12,000 a year and have them go to families that are not just making $50,000 a year, but $100,000 a year. And that would really put the money where people need it. It would help our historically black college and universities. It would help the kids that most need it. And instead of sending money for rich kids to go to college. Like, I don't want to have taxpayer money go to pay for Mark Zuckerberg's kids to go to college.
Right.
No, I don't want to do that. So that is the difference.
You've been very vocal, not just about being the president of all of America, but you've really been vocal about making America's voting process more fair, specifically regarding the election ads that run. You know, over the past few months and maybe even years, the focus has been on Facebook, on Twitter, on all these social media giants who have taken vast sums of money to put out political ads. And you have been one of the most fierce critics, you know, in and around this space. What do you think needs to change and why?
This is an unbelievable thing that we really shouldn't wait for the presidential election to change. Right now, an ads run on your network or on any network or on any newspaper, radio, you have to say what they are, post them on a website, and then you've got to say how you're going to pay for them. You've got to put down, you know, prepared and paid for by. Not true of the social media companies. And so one great example of this, in 2016, Russian rubles were used to pay for ads on Facebook that were targeted at African-American websites in swing states. And that ad had an innocent woman's face. She was from Chicago, had no idea her face was used. And it said, "Why wait in line to vote for Hillary? You can text your vote at like 86153.
Wow.
It was a lie, and it is illegal. That was done to suppress the vote. In my mind, it's a crime. Those were the kinds of ads that were being put out there, and that's why my bill, the Honest Ads Act, which is bipartisan, which is being stopped by Mitch McConnell, what that bill does is it simply says they have to follow the same rules. Well, if you think this is little, $3 to $4 billion is going to be spent on internet ads. And you've heard about how Facebook doesn't even care if they're true or not.
Right.
So that is the problem here.
But now some people have argued and said, we understand what the intention is behind this, Senator Klobuchar, but how do you respond to those who say it has the potential to stifle the speech of those who aren't incumbents and don't have access to the money to pay for the ads on these bigger platforms?
You know, these aren't cat videos, right? These are ads that I believe are going to contain false pictures of candidates, are going to have videos that aren't even the real candidate that's going to look like them. And this is about voters being able to make a decision about an election. And they need accuracy, and they need honesty. And the big thing that really bothers me is that these companies are making tons of money off these ads, $3 to $4 billion. Why shouldn't they have to play by the same rules and ensure honesty? Because otherwise we're not going to have a fair election. The one other thing I would do is when I'm president, I would get my bill passed that says that every kid, if they're eligible to vote, when they turn 18, they are automatically registered to vote. That would make a huge difference. Then they wouldn't have to go through all of this.
That makes a lot of sense.
It would register millions of more people.
Let's talk lastly about your appeal in the middle of America and with many conservative voters. You know, you've been written about, you've been spoken about, where people say there are conservatives who would vote for you because they don't like Donald Trump, but they don't want to go to an extreme liberal world. How do you maintain liberal policies and ideas whilst also bringing into the fold those who may consider themselves conservative or independent because the left is too extreme?
I think a lot of it is that I go not just where it's comfortable, but where it's uncomfortable. I have strong values. I am pro-choice. I am someone that believes in protecting our environment and believes we have to take on climate change in a big way. I want to get the assault weapon ban in place, right? But when I go to places in my state, I listen to people. They don't agree with me about everything, but I have been able to bring them in because they know I'm going to tell them the truth and they know I'm going to have their back and get things done. And that is how I've won every single red rural congressional district, ones that Trump took by double digits. And I've won them not once, not twice, but 3 times, including Michelle Bachmann's district. And I have done that. And I think this is so important when you look at this election, because we don't just want to eke by a victory. We want to take back the U.S. Senate and send Mitch McConnell packing. And the way you do that is by winning in these states like Colorado and Arizona and Iowa and winning these Senate seats, because that's how we're going to get these big things done. So I don't just want to win. I want to win big, and that's why I want to lead this ticket.
It's a great way to end it off. Thank you so much for coming back to the show. Good luck for the rest of the race. Senator Amy Klobuchar, everybody.